Vegetto. Vegetto is a Saiyan, who is the result of Son Gokū and Vegeta using Potara earrings to fuse into a singular being. His Metamoran Fusion counterpart is Gogeta. Vegetto first appeared at the end of Z episode Union of Rivals to start battling with Super Buu, with his second appearance in the next episode Meet Vegetto as the main protagonist throughout the entire episode. His debut in Dragon Ball Super was many years later to fight and attempt to defeat Fused Zamasu, though they quickly defused due to overusage of power. Concept and creation. In Vegetto's debut, he was ironically referred to as Gogeta. Personality. Having been created with the Potara earrings from two equal beings, Vegetto is an entirely different being from both Gokū and Vegeta. Because he was created from them, his personality has traits of both Vegeta and Gokū and has also inherited their memories. Despite being a fusion of both Gokū and Vegeta, Vegetto's personality appears to garner more of its strengths from the Vegeta half. He has shown himself to be rude and arrogant in combat, proud of his power and prone to belittling opponents while winning a battle. Vegetto also possesses Vegeta's tendency for adding super before his name, referring to himself as Super Vegetto. He has also inherited Goku's love for his friends and family, prioritizing their rescue over immediately killing Majin Buu, even willingly letting himself be absorbed so that he could rescue them. Much like Gokū, he also speaks in the Tohoku dialect of Japanese. Vegetto is also a very intelligent and crafty individual, best shown while on the battlefield. He deliberately played on Buu's anger and insecurities, toying with the Majin and goading him into absorbing him, as well as being well aware of his enemy's techniques work and how to counter them. In his battle with Zamasu, it was revealed he is capable of being serious when need be, although he still retains his tauntful nature. Unlike the fused Zamasu, Vegetto was merged from two highly disciplined fighters. As such, he rarely leaves any openings for his opponents to attack. In the manga, he stated he had no intention of dragging out the fight against the fused Zamasu and planned to eliminate him before Zamasu's fusion expired. This adds credit to the fact he taunted Buu in order to get absorbed and save his friends and family. Despite being a product of fusion, Vegetto is not without unique traits of his own. One example is how he nicknames himself with his transformations, such as Super Vegetto as a Super Saiyan as well as Vegetto Blue as a Super Saiyan Blue. Appearance. As the fusion of Son Gokū and Vegeta, Vegetto possesses a fair mixture of traits from both warriors. His hair is inclined more towards Vegeta's style, down to the widow's peak, and two bangs directly over his forehead, a trait from Gokū. Vegetto possesses Goku's general physical build, a muscular but slender frame, as well as his height. His facial expressions, however, are more in line with Vegeta's stern face, but when he relaxes, his face leans towards Goku's casual look. His attire is a mixture of Gokū and Vegeta's standards, garb. Vegetto wears gi, like Gokū, but the colors are inverted, blue gi with an orange undershirt, and a blue obi. He also wears white gloves and white armor-tipped boots, Vegeta's signature footwear. His accessories are the Potara that were used to create him. History. Dragon Ball Z Majin Buu Arc. Vegetto was formed during the battle against Majin Buu, in an act of desperation by Son Gokū and Vegeta using the Potara to fuse into the Ultimate Fighter. Upon the successful fusion, the new Saiyan names himself Vegetto, however, upon immediately transforming into a Super Saiyan, rechristens himself Super Vegetto. Buu jokingly states he's afraid, and launches a large Kokoha at Vegetto, who easily bounces the sphere back, causing Buu to dodge. Retaining his arrogant attitude, Majin Buu rushes Vegetto, only to be struck hard by the force of the fused Saiyan's strength. Having successfully forced Buu into the ground, Vegetto unleashes his Ki Saber technique, forming Ki into the shape of a sword and stabbing Majin Buu, lifting the Majin up from the rubble and taunting him further. His words anger Buu, and Buu releases a torrent of steam to blind Vegetto, attacking him in the middle of the smokescreen. Vegetto, however, comes out on top, telling Buu that unless he follows the movement of Ki, unlike Buu, who tries to follow with his eyes. He then disintegrates a tentacle of Buu in hand, claiming to be ready to do this to the rest of him later. Majin Buu then utilizes the Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, stolen knowledge from absorbing Gotenks, and attacks Vegetto with his son's technique. Vegetto recognizes the technique, and opts for a clever method to dispose of the ghosts, destroying them with Kokoha from the fingertips. He further taunts Buu, saying that him using a child's technique means the Majin is getting desperate. Majin Buu rushes Vegetto in a rage, and the fused Saiyan parries each and every strike with just his legs. Overwhelmed by Vegetto's power, Majin Buu then asks if Vegetto likes coffee candy, turning the Saiyan into a coffee-flavored jawbreaker. Miraculously, Vegetto retains his ability to speak and move, and most importantly, to fight, while in Jawbreaker form and proceeds to pummel Majin Buu with a flurry of fast-paced attacks, chopping off a tentacle again in the process, until the Majin is forced to return Vegetto to his human form. Vegetto then tells Buu he'll give him 10 seconds before he kills him, and counts down, thinking to himself that Buu has only one option left. When Buu moves the tentacle that Vegetto lopped off, Vegetto thinks that it's about time Buu thought of this, and the moment Vegetto's count reaches 10, the goo expands to cover him. Vegetto activates a barrier at the last second, and he is absorbed into Majin Buu. Within Majin Buu, Vegetto has remained in one piece, and decides to look for his friends and lower the barrier. When he does, the fusion comes unraveled, and Goku and Vegeta are split apart once more. Dragon Ball Super, Future Trunks Arc. Vegetto is created by Goku and Vegeta's Potara fusion, and blows away part of Zamasu's body. He introduces himself, informing Zamasu that mortals can fuse as well. Vegetto also lets Zamasu know of the 1-hour time limit that non-Kaishin have imposed on them by the Potara. Zamasu claims that 1 hour is enough to dispose of trash like Vegetto, the latter disagrees, consuming the final senzu. He transforms into Super Saiyan Blue, and reintroduces himself to Zamasu, Blue Vegetto. Vegetto states he will eradicate every last trace of Zamasu. Vegetto launches a Ki cannon that lifts Zamasu off his feet, and proceeds to physically assault the god. He forces him beneath the surface of the planet, and launches a Kakoha that ruptures the ground. It isn't enough to dispose of Zamasu, who emerges from the ground and grabs Vegetto's legs and attempts to throw him, only for the latter to cut his hands off. Vegetto stabs Zamasu multiple times with the sword, and kicks him away. He prepares his trump card, the final Kamehameha, to eradicate Zamasu. Zamasu attacks him with Katchin, but Vegetto uses teleportation to avoid it, and so Zamasu prepares an onslaught of Katchin blocks. The key output coming from Vegetto causes Shin to realize his power has surpassed Hikation Beerus. Before Vegetto can release his attack, however, he defuses. Future Trunks Arc Anime. Vegetto was created again after Son Gokū and Vegeta used East Kaishin's Potara earrings to fuse. He introduces himself to the demented apprentice Kaishin, and then transforms into Super Saiyan Blue, now dubbing himself Vegetto Blue. He disrupts a ball of holy wrath shot towards him by Zamasu, and declares the battle started. Despite Zamasu's attempt to lecture Vegetto on the nature of gods, the latter slugs the deity, goading Zamasu to try and kill him. The intensity of the battle reaches its peak, with Vegetto adjusting his fighting style to accommodate Zamasu's strength. The resulting battle wreaks a large amount of damage to the already damaged future world, and despite Vegetto appearing to have an edge, Zamasu catches him in a shockwave blow that tosses him to the ground. Zamasu intends to kill Vegetto there with the violent god-splitting cutter, but Vegetto counters with his Ki Saber, making it plain he too can use it. The fused Saiyan points out to Zamasu that he is no longer immortal, now that the mortal Son Gokū is permanently a part of his body. Amesa crushes Vegetto's blade, and states that Goku being a part of his body, taking upon the sins of the gods into himself, is his very wish. The mad deity begins to cry, much to Vegetto's annoyance, as his body begins to grow in size. The battle continues, with Vegetto overwhelming the gargantuan deity despite his rage-induced form. He then unleashes his trump card, the final Kamehameha. He teleports to Zamasu when he emerges from the attack, and strikes him with a god aura-clad blow. At this instant, Vegetto defuses, having used up his 1-hour time limit early due to excess energy consumption. Abilities. As a Saiyan, Vegetto has a natural Ki affinity, and with his fusion being the Potara, one of the highest quality of fusion in existence, on top of being formed from two of the most powerful warriors to exist in the 7th universe, and because they were rivals, his fusion is the strongest fusion known in the universe at the time. Goku and Vegeta themselves are geniuses on the battlefield, Goku specifically being unintelligent in almost all things but battle, and Vegeta having proved time and again to be extremely cunning when he needs to be. This combination gives Vegetto 2 separate lives of fighting experience to draw from, making him one of the, if not the most experienced warriors in the mortal realm. He can use this battle experience to analyze opponents and adapt to their style on the fly, changing his to suit the situation. Vegetto also possesses teleportation, however his usage is far superior to Goku's as he was able to use it without pointing his middle and index fingers at his forehead and concentrating. In the anime, his mastery over it enabled him to dodge a two-sided attack and make it look like the attack did hit him. Despite being formed by different methods, neither Vegetto nor Gogeta are the other's inferior, both fusions are equally matched in strength. Power and physical prowess. Vegetto's power far outstrips that of either Goku or Vegeta alone, even while in base form. In the anime, Vegetto battled Majin Buu for a short while in base form before transforming, and was sufficiently stronger than the Majin. In the manga, Vegetto immediately transformed into a Super Saiyan and proceeded to overwhelm Majin Buu without losing traction in the battle. As Goku and Vegeta both mastered godly ki in their base forms, Vegetto is exponentially stronger in his base form than he was when he was first created. Before Goku and Vegeta underwent training from Whis to master godly ki, Goku was skeptical even Vegetto could have beaten Beerus. Elder Kai states that Potara gives higher boost than Metamoran Fusion, so if Gogeta and Vegetto are born with Goku and Vegeta at their same power level, Vegetto surpasses even Gogeta, thus Beerus. In the manga, while he had a fraction of his power due to his fusees merging in a weakened state, he still had enough power in his base form to fire off a powerful ki blast to destroy the Fused Zamasu's right arm. Fighting style. Ki usage. Vegetto, as the fusion of two of the greatest masters of martial arts within the worlds of the living and the dead at the time, naturally possessed their great skills in manipulating their ki to go along with his arsenal. During his short battle with Majin Buu, Vegetto showed great skill in manipulating the shape of his ki to suit his purposes, for example, shaping it like a long blade, which he uses to pierce Majin Buu's body. He's also capable of utilizing a ki to vaporize objects on contact, and was confident he could perform the same on Majin Buu's body. With his ki, Vegeta has also shown himself to be able to split energy among his fingers to fire miniature bullets. One of Vegetto's most unique uses of ki, however, is the barrier technique that he can create as a covering for his body. The barrier's properties were able to prevent him from being absorbed by Majin Buu, a feat that has never been accomplished by any other being. It also was resistant to the air within Buu's body, and kept the effects of the Potara in play until Vegetto let the barrier down, exposing him. In the anime, Vegetto has also showcased the ability to use and alter the techniques of Son Gokū and Vegeta. He was able to use the Big Bang attack, altering the sphere into a beam, making it more in line with the garlic cannon, on which it is derived. He also combined two of Goku and Vegeta's strongest techniques, the Final Flash and the Super Kamehameha, creating the Final Kamehameha, a finishing technique of devastating power. Saiyan forms. Super Saiyan. As the fused product of two Super Saiyans, Vegetto is more than capable of accessing the form himself. In the manga, when Goku and Vegeta fused into Vegetto, he transformed into a Super Saiyan immediately, while, in the anime, he postponed the transformation slightly to test out his base state skills. While in this state, Vegetto dubs himself Super Vegetto, a title he lives up to spectacularly. Transformed into a Super Saiyan, Vegetto's power well outclasses that of a Super Saiyan 3. He completely overwhelms Majin Buu in this state, overpowering the creature entirely. Super Vegetto's aura possesses bolts of bioelectricity commonly associated with Super Saiyan 2. He displays high levels of control of the Super Saiyan transformation. He was quite relaxed and jovial throughout most of his battle with the evil fused Buu because of the overwhelming difference in their powers. These characteristics are similar to a Super Saiyan 4th grade, however, he was never directly stated to be a user of this form. Although, given Goku is a user of Super Saiyan 4th grade, it can be safe to assume Vegetto was using this form as well. Super Saiyan 2. Vegetto attains his Super Saiyan 2 form in Dragon Ball Heroes introduced in Jaka Mission 5. In the cards, his hair is spikier and slightly larger, but in-game he loses one hairbang, being similar to Teen Gohan's Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 3. While Goku had this form during Vegetto's manga/anime debut, Super Saiyan 3 Vegetto was not introduced until Dragon Ball Heroes during Jaka Mission 3. In promotional art, Vegetto is depicted having two hairbangs, but in-game he loses one of them, resembling Goku's Super Saiyan 3 form. In this form, Vegetto gains a stronger variation of the Spirit Sword technique called Spirit Excalibur. Super Saiyan Blue. Due to being a product of both Son Gokū and Vegeta, Vegetto is capable of transforming into a Super Saiyan Blue. Within this state, he calls himself Vegetto Blue, or Blue Vegetto, and possesses the immense power of godly ki. He proved powerful enough to take on the merged Zamasu equally within this state, even showing that he possessed the advantage at several points during their battle. In the manga, Vegetto outclassed Zamasu entirely, humiliating the deity during their battle, similarly to how he handled Majin Buu. However, due to his immense power, Vegetto Blue can only remain fused for a significantly shorter amount of time than the standard hour. By Shin's estimation, Vegetto's power in this state surpasses Beerus, the Hakeishin, lending credence to Whis' statement that if the two ever worked together, they could exceed him. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. During the Prison Planet saga, Vegetto uses this form against Cumber, battling him using the basic Kaioken multiplier. The form was introduced in Dragon Ball Heroes as an SEC card in Universe Mission 3, though Vegetto does not use the form during its version of the Prison Planet saga. Equipment. Potara mystical earrings belonging to the Kaioken. Vegetto wears a complete set. The earrings enable fusion, and were used to create Vegetto. His initially set belonged to the Elder Kaioshin, and were destroyed by Vegeta and Goku when Vegetto split apart. The second set he acquired belonged to East Kaioshin. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Ben Phillips.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.